Muslim investors are told the same thing everyone else is. Just buy an index fund. But for many Muslims, that advice is not so simple. Because investing is not only about returns. It is also about what your money is supporting. The Quran makes a clear distinction between trade and riba. Allah has permitted trade and forbidden interest. And it tells believers, intoxicants and gambling are evil of Satan's handiwork. So shun them. So when a normal index fund includes conventional banks, interest-based lenders, alcohol companies, gambling businesses, conventional insurance, and other activities that may not match Islamic values, Muslim investors face a real problem. They do not want to compromise on their principles. But they also do not want to spend every night trying to pick individual stocks. And they do not want to leave all their money in cash for decades while inflation quietly reduces its value. The good news is that there is another option. Halal index funds. In this video, I will explain what halal index funds are, why Muslim investors have fewer options than conventional investors, what purification means, and the main halal ETFs worth comparing. I will also put a simple comparison table in the description, because 5 fund names can blur together fast. This is educational content, not personal financial advice. All investing involves risk. First, let us understand why normal index funds are so popular. An index fund is simply a fund that owns a large group of companies instead of betting everything on one company. Instead of trying to guess whether Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, or Amazon will win, an index fund can own hundreds or even thousands of companies. That gives you diversification. If one company fails, your whole future does not depend on it. It also makes investing simpler. You do not need to trade every week. You do not need to predict the next big stock. You can invest regularly, keep costs low, and give time a chance to work. That is why people often say, just buy an index fund. But for Muslims, that sentence is incomplete. A normal index fund is designed to represent the market. It does not care whether a company earns money from interest-based lending, alcohol, gambling, tobacco, adult entertainment, conventional insurance, or highly leveraged business models. It simply includes large companies. So when someone says, just buy the market, that advice may not automatically match a Muslim investor's values. And this is where many people feel they only have 2 choices. Choice 1. Buy a normal index fund and ignore their concerns. Choice 2. Avoid funds completely and try to pick a few individual halal stocks. But there is a third option. Halal index funds. A halal index fund works like a normal index fund. It gives you exposure to many companies. But before companies enter the fund, they go through Shariah screening. Think of a normal index fund like entering a huge supermarket and putting everything into your trolley. A halal index fund is like using a filter before anything enters the trolley. Businesses involved in prohibited activities are removed. And companies that do not meet the fund's financial ratio rules may also be removed. That is the solution. But it creates a limitation. Once you remove conventional financial companies, highly indebted businesses, alcohol, gambling, and other non-compliant activities, you end up with a smaller investment universe. That means a halal index fund does not look exactly like a normal global index fund. It may have less exposure to banks and financial companies. It may have more exposure to technology, healthcare, semiconductors, and large growth companies. And this leads to one important point. A halal ETF can own hundreds of companies and still be more concentrated than a normal global index fund. That is not automatically bad. It simply means you need to understand what you own. The goal is not to find the fund with the highest return last year. The goal is to find a fund that matches your values, gives you reasonable diversification, and has a structure you can stay with for years. Now let us look at the main types of Halal index funds. The first type is a developed markets Halal fund. This usually gives you exposure to countries like the United States, Japan, the United Kingdom, Canada, Europe, and other developed economies. The second type is an emerging markets Halal fund. This can add countries such as India, Taiwan, China, Brazil, South Korea, and others. And the third type is an all-world Halal fund. This aims to combine developed and emerging markets in one product. Now let us look at some of the main Halal ETFs. The first is the iShares MSCI World Islamic UCITS ETF. Its ISIN is IE00B27 yttrium cyanide. This is one of the oldest established Halal ETFs. It launched in 2007. It covers Sharia-compliant companies in developed markets. Its annual fee is 0.30%. And it is distributing. That means dividends are paid out to you. This may suit you if you want investment income, or if you prefer to reinvest the dividends yourself. But there is one important limitation. It covers developed markets only. So it is not a complete global portfolio by itself. The next option is the Invesco Dow Jones Islamic Global Developed Markets UCITS ETF. Its ISIN is IE000UOXRAM8. This is also a developed markets Halal fund. But unlike iShares, it is accumulating. That means dividends stay inside the fund and are reinvested automatically. For someone investing every month for long-term growth, that can be attractive. Its annual fee is 0.40%. That is slightly higher than iShares. But Invesco has one feature many Muslim investors care about. It publishes Sharia documentation and provides a dividend purification calculator. But before you decide whether that makes it the right fund for you, there is one concept you need to understand. Purification. Purification means donating the small portion of income linked to non-compliant sources to charity. But here is an important detail. Accumulating does not automatically mean purification has happened for you. Invesco states that accumulated income is not purified before it is reinvested. So if purification matters to you, you need to understand the provider's method and decide how you want to make any charitable donation yourself. The third option is the HSBC MSCI World Islamic Screened UCITS ETF. Its ISIN is IE000X9FTI22. This is also an accumulating Halal ETF. Its annual fee is 0.30%. It follows an MSCI World Islamic approach with additional ESG-related exclusions. And it has a Sharia committee that monitors the fund and issues an annual Sharia certificate. That makes it a strong option for investors who want lower cost accumulation and formal Sharia governance. But there is a trade-off. It is newer and smaller than some of the older Halal ETFs. So ask yourself, do I prefer a fund with a long history and a larger asset base? Or do I prefer a lower cost accumulating fund with a governance structure that better matches my priorities? There is no automatic winner. Now let us talk about the most interesting newer option. The Invesco MSCI ACWI Islamic M-Series UCITS ETF. Its ISIN is IE000LFC57H7. It launched on the 10th of February 2026. This fund is different. It aims to include both developed and emerging markets in one Halal fund. It is accumulating. Its annual fee is 0.35%. And it is one of the closest options to a one-fund global Halal equity solution. That sounds ideal. But because it is new, it does not yet have the long history, large asset base, or established trading record of older funds. That does not make it bad. It simply means you are choosing simplicity over a longer track record. The final important fund is the iShares MSCI Emerging Markets Islamic UCITS ETF. Its ISIN is IE00B27YCP72. This is not a complete portfolio by itself. Think of it as an add-on. It gives you halal exposure to emerging markets that developed market funds do not include. Some investors use an emerging markets halal fund beside a developed market halal fund. For example, a developed markets halal ETF is the main core, and an emerging markets halal ETF is a smaller additional part. But be careful. Emerging markets are not automatically more diversified just because they include more countries. They can still be heavily influenced by a few large technology and semiconductor companies. So more countries does not always mean less concentration. Let me make the comparison simple. If you want a long-running halal fund that pays dividends, the iShares MSCI World Islamic ETF is the one to compare. If you want developed market exposure where dividends are reinvested automatically, compare Invesco IGDA and HSBC HIWS. If you want one fund that covers developed and emerging markets, the newer Invesco ACWI Islamic ETF is the one to look at first. And if you want to add emerging markets separately, the iShares Emerging Markets Islamic ETF is designed as an add-on rather than a complete core. Now, before choosing any halal ETF, there is one deeper question most people skip. How is the fund actually screened, monitored, and purified? Think of halal funds like different restaurants claiming to serve halal food. They may all say, halal, but you still want to know, who certified it? What standards did they use? How often do they check? And what happens if something does not meet the standard? Halal ETFs work in a similar way. Some use MSCI Islamic screening. Some use Dow Jones Islamic screening. Some have named Shariah boards and annual certificates. Some offer purification calculators. Others leave more responsibility with you as the investor. So before investing, ask 3 questions. Who is the Shariah board or screening provider? How often are the companies reviewed and rebalanced? And how is non-compliant income calculated, disclosed, and purified? Because low fees matter. Diversification matters. A long track record matters. But if the Shariah process does not match the standard you trust, then it is not the right fund for you. So do not feel forced to choose between normal index funds and random individual stocks. Halal index funds give Muslim investors another path. A path where you can invest broadly. Keep your strategy simple. Avoid constantly trading. And still try to align your investments with your values. You may have fewer options than a conventional investor. That is true. But fewer options does not mean no options. It means you need to choose more carefully. Choose a fund you understand. Choose a structure that fits your goals. Choose a Shariah process you trust. Keep costs reasonable. And give your investment enough time to grow. Because the best halal investment is not the one with the most exciting return this year. It is the one you can trust and keep investing in for the next 10, 20, or 30 years. What is the biggest challenge for you with halal investing? Write one answer in the comments.